Welcome back, community, our Evolutionary community. Um, wow, so here we are, Journey 5. I'm really excited about the woman I'm going to be speaking to, especially at a time like this. Life is lifing, goals are set, prayers are praying. And I just feel like it's so important, even in the midst of everything going on, everything that we want to push forward in life, to be mindful of the spirit, mind, body connection, to be mindful of who we are at the core, and to stand in that foundation, to not get lost in the hustle, the bustle, the goals, the lifing us. I'm really excited about this guest, a woman that I admire, that I've been admiring from afar even. She is an actress, a dancer, I'd say a full-on artist, a philanthropist, a mother, a wife, a believer, all of these titles. We were born with like these gifts and characteristics. And here we are in life standing in them. How do we juggle them? How do we breathe in them? How do we balance them all out? And so, without further ado, I am here with Michelle Mitchenor.
Yes.
What's up, lady?
Thank you for the introduction.
Of course.
Yes.
Welcome to Journey 5 of
Journey
Epic Conversation.
5, my favorite number.
Why is that your favorite number?
Well, I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Okay.
Very best sorority on the planet.
Okay.
And I'm a number 5 on the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is special.
Yes.
Journey 5. We
Journey
call them
5.
journeys and not episodes because, again, we're talking about the journey through.
I love
We're talking about the healing journey through, the self-love journey through, the becoming.
Yes.
So that is the purpose of calling it a journey.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. How you feeling?
I feel calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel calm. I feel at peace. I feel centered. I feel joy. Yeah, like I feel good.
All of those
Yeah,
things.
I feel really good.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that from you.
Yeah. I'm really like in a really cool place of gratitude, and I'm just really with it right now.
Yeah.
I'm really with it. Like how I feel, and like just my space and my energy and my family and my friends and my tribe, and like I'm digging it.
The foundation
so
is
hard.
solid.
Yeah, I'm digging it so hard right now.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
So all these titles that I introduced you in, again, actress, dancer, all around artist. You know, you and I spoke, you've been an artist probably since you came out of the womb, but mother and wife and philanthropist. You have a nonprofit where you're giving back to the community. All of these things that you balance, a believer, faith, all of these titles and gifts that you balance. What does self-love look like for you? What does it look like?
What does it look like?
Yeah.
Honestly, it looks like picking and choosing all those titles you mentioned, picking and choosing like the priority of like when do they shift? Like you mentioned philanthropist, I was very hard in it, and we were traveling internationally yearly and down at Skid Row often and all those things. I was pre me having children, you know what I mean? So I was able to give so much of that capacity to the children that we were helping. And whereas when after I had my two, it was okay, now let's make sure we send them on a trip to Debbie Allen's Hot Chocolate Nutcracker in December, or let's just at least pop in when we can, because now I have to think about me as a mother, and my babies are young, so there's a certain level of attention and care that they need that prioritizes me being a philanthropist. So I feel like what I'm learning, because it's a journey, as you mentioned, what I'm learning, what self-care looks like for me and in my life is really looking at, okay, what's priority right now? And what can I give in a way that like is best for myself and for whatever it is that I'm giving to. And I think that that's been a really like pivotal moment for me, because again, pre children and marriage is like, oh, I could be here, I could be there, I could I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and now it's like no, because then you're gonna run yourself so far into the ground that then you're gonna be showing up definitely barely for yourself, let alone for your core family. So that's what is really starting to become for me, is prioritizing what pockets of me titles gets what pocket of me at what time. And I feel like it's starting to get a really cool flow. I'm like, okay, all right, I can dig this. Okay, all right. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. By definition, self-love is the best regard for oneself. Yes. And so that is picking and choosing, prioritizing, balancing out in the midst of all of your gifts, right? Because it's a title, but it's also a gift.
Yeah.
Those are gifts, right? That we wear and honor. I consider you a three-dimensional woman, right? Because you do balance it out. And that's another part of self-love, being three-dimensional and being able to carry that duality of all of these life experiences and titles and pushing through the mind, body, spirit connection. That's so important.
Yeah.
That's so important in your day-to-day life. Share what that looks like. Also, like when we say spirit, mind, body, like, do you wake up and you pray? Like, what is your regiment?
Yeah. That's a really great question, because I feel like some days it's so different depending on how my little ones sleep. Because sometimes I'm waking up to someone crying and I feel like it is not prayer, it's mommy. So I have to be honest with that. It really differs from day to day, but I believe that because I am so rooted in my source, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times I'm like, okay, if this is how the day is starting, I'm going to ease in that way. Like, okay, we starting the day in motherhood. Some days start in, oh, everybody's asleep. Okay, I'm going to take a shower. That's where I connect, with my source, and I just be thinking and letting the I like hot showers.
Yeah, same.
Let the hot water hit me, being able to take my time, you know what I mean? Now, again, just with this new gift of motherhood, it's like time is different. When you got to get the kids going and you're running behind, you don't even have time to take a shower in a way that you can really indulge in it.
Right.
So when I have those mornings where I can, it's so spiritual. It's more spiritual than like my quick showers. I'm like, all right, God, how the day about to go. Just allow me to take a deep breath. Let me go, let me ease through it. So the top of the day really is, I have to just be open. I just surrender. I think that, let me just say that I start the day surrendering to what it is.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, the night before, I'm usually like, okay, I know I need to get up at this time so I can take my shower and have my me time, and then I'm gonna get the girls ready. Then I'm gonna go to my hot yoga. Then we're about to check in on the emails. Then we're gonna get going on who I get the doctor's appointments. I gotta write a script, an audition probably, and this is me, of course, not working. This is typically how it is. But then some days it just get turned on its head, and I used to fight it and be so upset. Like, oh, I didn't get a chance to go to my yoga class because she was sick, and I had to, and I was just fighting it so hard, and it was just like, be easy, ride the wave,
grace.
Grace, ride the wave, which I believe 5, with the grace is something that goes with the number 5. But yeah,
we on 5
today. 5
okay.
is where it's at. It's the number of grace. But yeah, so it doesn't look the same every day. But what I do try to make sure that I do is I surrender to what is, because when I fight against it, I get irritable with myself, irritable with my spouse, irritable with my kids, because I'm like, I didn't get to do my thing. You know what I mean? Whereas now, so I'm in a place of surrender. Okay, you didn't get to do that now. Check in with hubby. I'm gonna go tonight. Like yesterday kind of ended up like that. My daughter was not feeling well. Usually I go to my mat in the morning. I was like, babe, do you mind if I go at 6:30? Which means that he would have to handle like nighttime routine without me, like an extra set of hands with both girls. And he was like, sure, absolutely. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. I still get that time to myself. And that's really a big thing. As long as I get that time to myself, I make sure that's a priority. And then I run through like the to-do list, like the bills that I gotta pay, and you know, who I need to follow up with in terms of like career stuff. So like my to-do list is kind of sectioned off between like myself, and myself includes things that are spiritually that I need, whether it's time with a friend that I need to follow up with, whether it's, like I said, time on my mat, just time to myself, sleep.
Sleep is important.
Sitting on the couch doing nothing and watching a show. Like I have to legit write it down, because before I was in a fog and I was just like not. I just was in a fog. I didn't know I was just like waking up with like a blank slate and like being upset. Stuck. I felt very stuck. And so I make sure I have that, and then I have like a career to do list, and then I have like house needs, and I have like the girls. So I try my best to be done with all of those things before I gotta hop into mommy mode at about 4. I gotta clock back in around 4 o'clock. Then after that, it's family time. Yeah, it's dinner, it's spouse, it's the girls. We try our best to, you know, phones away, you know, or just, you know, off to the side. Off the table, off to the side, and like really on the ground in the playroom, in the little ball pits, and you know what I mean? All of that with our girls, because I really, again, this time thing has been a thing for me this year. Like, I just don't want to. I know it's gonna go so fast, and I want to just like hold on to it like a really tight hug.
Savor every moment, every second, and be present.
And be present as much as I absolutely can. So that time to myself, that being present with my family, and you know, I am a hustler, so just checking in on a career front and making sure certain things are in place, and that I'm steadily making my way in that too.
Yeah, so you are a hustler.
Thank you.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And that's why it's like three-dimensional woman of spirit, mind, body. We look at, like, we'll see your work, see these roles that you portray, but it's important, like, people need to know, like the younger women, aspiring artists, they need to know that you've been an artist since you were 3 years old. Yeah. You know, where does your artistry? I want to tap into that, like your artistry. I know you've been an artist again since you were a young girl. Where does that inspiration or that influence come from, like in your childhood? Because in my opinion, I feel like art is healing. Yeah. Art is life. Art is such a vehicle for healing and confidence building and just shaping our world and our perspectives. And so with you being an artist, give us some background to that and how it translates to your life even now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I believe it is absolutely healing. I think, thinking about your question, what influences it, I think it's just like laughter and fun. Like, I really have fun with what I do. And my mom is really fun. She's like a really fun parent. My dad is really fun too. Like, our family is like, we joke a lot. And I believe that that's where it kind of all stems. That's the influence of it for me. But then at the same time, as most families, we have such a complex dynamic, you know what I mean? And there's been, you know, people in my family who've really gone through a lot, or who have experienced a lot or seen a lot, or my parents alone have, you know, in their lives and their childhood and all of that influences my artistry as well, because there's like so much depth there and so much to still explore, because it gives so much information to who I am,
identity,
and identity and all of that. So I believe it that all intertwines and has intertwined into like who I am as an artist. But a big part of it is fun. I was very fortunate to have a lot of fun in my childhood and in my life. And I actually recently was telling my husband, we were like pillow talking, I was like, I just want to have a lot of fun, and I want to keep having fun, because I feel like sometimes the disappointments in life and those peaks, the valleys and all of that in life can kind of suck a lot of that out of adults.
It gets so heavy.
And I feel it on people sometimes, like when I'm around, like on sets and things like that. And I'm like, man, what is going on with this person that is just, their energy, their spirit is so heavy. So it makes me be reflective into like, let me ensure that I'm creating a space where I'm having fun with my art.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
I love
that. It really intertwined in that way,
I love that.
And it really helps for a balance, because I have an understanding of, like, I don't have naivety now, right? Like, I understand that life is just going to be doing this constantly. You know what I mean?
We're literally revolving.
You know what I mean? And where there's death, there's life.
Yes.
And so I want to just be able to continue to stay in the joy of it all. Because for like a second, I feel like a long second, I feel like I wasn't, because I just felt like, well, I have all these now like responsibilities and things and these little humans I got to take care of. But I can still find fun in that. Yes, there's a lot I want to do in my career. Yeah, there's been tons of disappointment, but I don't want to harbor on that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I genuinely want to have fun. I just had a first birthday party for my daughter. And
congratulations.
Thank you, my youngest. And we had our sitter come to help watch the kids that came, so that the adults, we could have fun. And we did like fun adult games. You know what I mean?
1-year-old birthday parties always turn into adult birthday
parties.
But
for me, so far, it's mostly been chasing my kid around at the party. And me and my husband was like, no, we want to have fun. You know what I mean? We played this head, shoulders, knee cup game with everybody. Whoever grabbed the cup, you know what I mean? And it allowed everyone to relax and have fun. Then we're like, all right, what game we playing next? You know what I'm saying? Because parenting can feel daunting
and
like
exhausting.
Sure. Oh my goodness, absolutely. So my artistry and how it started was all about fun, and it did get competitive in terms of like being a professional dancer and being in like competitive dance team, but also just that world is competitive, and the industry is like artsy and deep as it is. It's competitive and it's cutthroat, and it can make you kind of sour, and it can make you second guess your gift and how you look and my hair.
Lose yourself.
Yes. But I'm just remembering like the joy, that 3-year-old who was just,
loving
doing whatever.
Life.
And so I'm back in that space, and art has done that for me. Healing, yes, but also like the joy. And I think the joy of it all, and the joy of my family and the people in my family and the huge personalities of my family have aided so much to my artistry.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
And you can see it. You can see it in the work that you do, and all of these roles that you get to portray. Like being, I hear a lot in your motherhood. Motherhood. When you were a young girl, did you know you wanted to be a wife, a mother? Like obviously the artist.
Yeah.
But did you know that you wanted to be a wife and a mother?
I did, but I learned once I became one that I knew it from such a like surface. Like, yeah, it's what I should, what I want. Like, I want that. Yeah, I want a husband and kids. I definitely always said later. But it was from such a just like, I wanted the idea of it. And I didn't really know.
Oh, that's good.
I wanted the idea of it. I'm going to be honest. Because once I got in, I was like, whoa. no, because I had so much focus on being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I want, like my parent, like I was able to explore my art in such a full way, looking back on it now, and that's just where my focus was. And so it was like, yeah, I want a husband and kids. And then when my husband came into my life, Mustafa speaks. And even when like he proposed, it was like, what? Wait, what? Like, okay, this is a real thing. Like it just, and even when I got pregnant, with Noir, our oldest together, it was like, wait, what?
We
Like,
doing this?
it wasn't even us trying, but I know people are like, you weren't trying, obviously. But no, I really wasn't trying. And I was like, okay. And then when I got in, I'm like, no, this really requires more than just like the idea of being someone's wife and someone's mother. And I feel like now going into year 6 of marriage, thank you. I'm in year 3, but my daughter will be 4, so year 4 of motherhood in terms of like who I birthed. Now I do have 2 older bonus children. Mm-hmm. However, like I'm more in a privileged space with that because they live with their mom, so we get them on the summers and the holidays, of course, and I am fully in as that maternal figure, but they ultimately have another mother that I can kind of be like, hey girl, so your kid ain't acting right, what's going on? Right. And Mustafa not here right now, what you think I should do? Like I have like this person to kind of like lean on. Yeah. But with Noir and Legacy, I ain't got nobody to call. It's me. I can't call nobody else's mom. And so it just really, it threw me for a loop. So to answer your question, yes, but I wanted the idea of it. I had no true understanding of the undertaking that is required for being a wife and a mother. However, I will say now, going into year 4 of motherhood and year 6 of wife life, I'm really proud of myself. I've had some moments where I feel like I've disappointed myself, and I've made some decisions that I'm like, dang, man, that probably wasn't necessarily the best decision. Yeah. Especially in like wife life. Ooh, dang, yeah. Didn't think about that. Oops. And I'm proud of how far I've come. And I thank my husband for his patience and his grace.
Because love is.
Yes, right? Love is. Patience. And he was married before. Okay. But I had never lived with a man before. We moved in like 2 months before our wedding. So we didn't like live together beforehand. I don't think I dated anyone longer than like, I don't know, on and off 2 years before that. My focus had been my artistry. So here's this brilliant human being who does have his own set of like needs and things like that. I'm like, oh yeah, right. Oops. Right. And I really had to learn that. It's hard
to balance it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And then with children, I'm also trying to be more mindful of this now. And I think I saw someone say this once too. I can't remember if it was just like on a quick clip on Instagram or something, but did I look over and give my husband a kiss and a hug before I jumped to be a mom? And sometimes I haven't. And I was like, dang. Okay.
Those different hats. Yes. Right? Those different hats you have to put on and be like subconsciously, consciously and subconsciously aware.
And it's not even that my husband in particular, since I'm talking about it, he's never been like, hey, you ain't ever, because he is like super dad. So he's like, yeah, go get the kids. But it's still a wife thing. It's still a matriarch I'm a matriarch.
You are.
That hit me and was like, whoa. I'm responsible for childhood. I'm responsible for a culture of a house, of a home. Yeah. You gotta, for life. Yeah. For life. Yeah. Like, you really gotta dig deep and figure out what does that mean for you outside of being an actress and a dancer and a philanthropist. What does that mean in your house, in your home every day, in between all of that? And that's been a beautiful journey. Yeah. That's been cool.
When I hear you say that, I think of why self-love is so important. And trust me, I get self-love and self-care. It's so over-popularized. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Especially since the pandemic and everybody's like, self-love, what does that mean? But at the core of it, again, to be able to balance all of the titles and to be responsible for life, to be responsible for childhood, that foundation of your own self-love, your own being is got to be prioritized.
It really does.
And that's what people got to understand.
It looks like
you can't do what you do without serving yourself, without like really that self-love identification, which is something that I'm like, that's all I'm about, is like that identification, because what it looks like for you is different than what it looks like for me. But when you identify it, that's when you can carry those things. You can flip the hat, and you have that awareness.
For sure. And for me, it's
and that joy.
Yes, and joy. And for me, it's like driving in the car by myself. I love that. I love driving the car by myself. If I could take a grocery store around by myself, that is y'all good? I'm out. Like, I love that. That is, for me, self-love, because like nails, hair, that comes with with like my job too, and it's like that's needed for that as well, on top of those are like things I like, but when it comes like for the real deal self-love, it's things like that. It's the kids staying down and being able to cuddle on the couch with my husband like we didn't have kids, like before we had kids together, and that fills me up in a way that, yes, I'm with him, but it does something for me. It makes me feel like that like protected little girl who has her knight in shining armor. Not putting that on him, but it does.
That's okay to put it on him.
It feels good.
Pause right there. That's okay.
True.
I can't assume that everybody had a childhood like myself. I've been very open and vulnerable about it, right? Okay. Childhood trauma. But that little girl who wants to feel like that, we can stay in that. Like, that is okay.
Yes.
And again, if that's your identification of the love and yourself, and you being able to identify that's what you need, I think that is beautiful.
Thank you. I received that.
Everybody, we're all talking about like this soft girl era, and to be honest with you, sometimes a lot of us don't even have the opportunity to be soft. So if you've identified that is what you need, sitting on the couch feeling like that knight in shining armor, your husband, and that protection. I'm gonna say yes.
No, you're right. It feels good
because we deserve that. Cool. You deserve that.
Thank you. Yes. And it has taken, like, I feel him coming into my life allow me to fully see that, like, oh wow, like I do deserve that, and it's okay to have someone that you can lean and depend on who wants to be there for you, who wants to be there for you, who wants to know what you need. And again, a learning curve for me is remembering to be the same, because again, I, as an adult, I put a lot of focus on like, okay, now this is all about me. Because in my childhood, I have a brother who has special needs. So a lot of like, I was a caretaker as a young kid. Of course, like that's my man, $100,000, but it puts a lot on it. It's a sibling that's older than me as well, but it still puts a responsibility on a child that most children don't necessarily have to have. Right.
A bit parentified at a young age.
Absolutely parentified. And so when it came time to then leave the house, I was like, okay, now I can focus on myself, like fully, and not feel a way about it. And my parents were very much like, go and do your thing and don't worry about us or, anything like that. This is your time to be young and do your thing and all of that. Right. And so when it came to getting into a spouse dynamic and children and all of that, I think a bit of that came up for me, like, okay, now I'm responsible for something else again. And I had to really work through that in my own like therapy sessions and things like that. I'm like, yes, I was parentified, but now I'm a parent. Like now by title, right? Like you have to do these things. You know what I mean? But I think finding the joy, understanding that was that, and this is super helpful, and knowing that I can be all of those things, and I have a spouse to help me, and it's not just all on me, and it just I don't know, life and the way it has unraveled for me just slaps me in the face a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. What
Yeah.
I'm also hearing, because women are going to see this, men are going to see this, some single, some married, some divorced,
Yeah.
all of it, right? But what's so beautiful about your journey is you had joy, you had love, you had a sense of self. It sounds like you were able to identify your needs even before meeting your partner.
Yeah.
And that is so important in the journey, like to not be bogged down by looking for completion, but in a sense becoming complete.
It was right before him, because I did have a moment where I think I was getting discouraged in the whole dating process in particular, because I felt like, hey, I'm I'm an attractive woman, I'm successful, and I feel like I have a great head on my shoulders. I feel like I can contribute a lot to someone, and I was dealing with someone who I felt like was very hot and cold, and I was kind of like chasing him in a way, like hey, haven't heard from you in 2 weeks, and really wanting so much from him. And then it was like, I don't even remember the moment, but maybe it was just a moment of getting fed up enough where I was just like, no, thank you. Like, this is not what I deserve. This is nowhere near what I want from my life. And I made a promise to myself. I never forget. I was like, I'm not going on another date. I'm not even thinking about that unless it's someone where I feel like is really willing to like see me and pursue me and wants to be around me, like wants to do the thing. What's
the point?
Because then what are we doing? And so it was like I really had to draw that hard line in the sand with that person as well. And that person laughed at me like, why? Like, you got like a boyfriend or something now? Like, as if it was like, who am I to think that I...
Well, guess what? You got a husband now.
Exactly. And it was the little things with him that he was like, I think when him and I first met, or just were like talking as friends, of course, and I had to go somewhere, and he was like, oh, do you need a ride to the airport? And I was like, this man didn't ask me, do I need a ride to the airport? It sounds so small, but I had never experienced that here in Los Angeles. Okay, you don't need a ride, cool, just let me know when you get there. That let me know when you get there. Let me know when you land. It hit me up like, hey, I didn't hear from you, did you land?
Those little things.
And it made me feel like, yes, I deserve someone who cares that I landed across the country safely and in one piece. And I got in the, it was more popular. I got in the cab and then the train ride, and yes. But before, I was given a pass. Yeah. That's cool. Like, oh, you going to such an, all right, cool. See you when you get back. Maybe I have to kind of hit you up to let you know I even got back. I don't know what that was, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't raised like without a father who didn't pour into me. You know what I mean? He was hard and strict, but he always definitely poured into me. Or like without, a mom or a bonus mom who didn't make me feel like you're a queen. I wasn't, that was told to me. But I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves of who we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, ain't no better than this.
Yeah.
And like to really, again, remind ourselves of who we are. And that's a real thing to have to do. To just, again, re-identify.
Yes.
And when enough becomes enough, it's enough.
Man.
And it's not bodacious. It's not.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not asking too much.
Knowing that you are loved, and because you are loved, you deserve that.
Yeah.
Love.
It was like
all the way
all
through.
of that. It was like, man, I want someone.
I mean, so many men and women grow up with these mindsets of not understanding worth, right? Yeah. Just not getting that. And you can't come from a household that provides all of that validation and everything. But when you get in the world and life is lifing, I know I say that a lot because life be lifing. Yeah. That is the truest statement ever. Whoever made that up, thank you.
Yes. Shout out to you, whoever did that.
Because it be lifing anyway. But when life is lifing you and you're pursuing careers and all these different things, and you do want connection and love and relationship and even friendships with women and all of that. Sometimes we compromise and we got to remind ourselves of who we are.
Yeah, I was compromising hard, and I can't even tell you like why. It didn't even.
But you knew within.
Yeah, it took some time, but yes, it was like.
You knew within.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. I deserve someone who wants to open the car door.
Yeah, you knew within. I love that. I mean, it takes time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a minute. It takes a little journey, a little path.
Yeah. So you're right. That my knight in shining armor. I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He looks out.
That.
He looks out.
I love that. Okay, so back to like career. Career. You Black Boots.
Yes.
Tails. Lethal Weapon. Then you've got First Wives. Yeah. And then here we are with First Lady of BMF. When I looked at your resume, like your catalog, I used to watch Lethal Weapon and I'd be like, "Ooh, yeah, this is bad." You've always been in these roles that are like strong and self-aware, taking charge, and as again, art imitates life, right? Yeah. The source of your strength. So when I say art imitates life, it also reminds me of the importance of like healing and self-love, because we're portraying these characters and we're breathing life into these characters, right? And so you have to pull from a source. Let's just start with your most current role, First Lady of BMF. Like, that's a real story. Yeah. And although your life might not parallel hers, being able to tap into your source and your strength, that's healing there. Yeah. There's love there. There's strength there. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking to her, Tonisa Welch, who I just want to shout out her because she's just such an incredibly beautiful being. Yes. And speaking and talking to her, she's absolutely like a strong woman. However, it's not presented in like a like bodacious, like rah, rah kind of way at all. Her strength is in her quietness. Her strength is in like, what she's thinking and the plans that things she's putting together. Her intuition is a big pillar for her. And so I tapped into that because she has a lot of grace and grit. So it's not just or she was rather at the time. I'm not just this woman who's like this drug dealer. She wasn't like really in the streets and slapping people and shooting and killing. No, it was like, I'm just trying to make some money. You know what I mean? Make a couple of M's, take care of my family, wear my furs, and this is how it's gonna go down. And there was like this ease to how she was a boss. You know what I mean? And so in talking to her, that was just incredibly helpful, because it can be easy to fall into like, well, you're a drug, boss, queen pin, right? And so that means you got to be tough and strong and knocking people upside the head, and that's not what she was. So that was just either. So that was just really helpful. And she's such a spiritual woman. She's just all about God and what he's done for her in her life, and how incredibly remorseful she is for who she was at that time. And she takes accountability for her life and the lives that were affected because of the decisions she's made. And so I was just really honored and excited to have the responsibility of showing like, how does this young girl who came from a high middle class family in Detroit, wasn't a lot of like trauma type things. She, her mom gave her all the things she wanted. She had fur coats when she was a kid growing up. How does this young girl, go down this path? Yeah, go down this path, but then rise like a phoenix in such a way. So I was just excited to show that journey and what that looks like, and how someone of that caliber on the outside can still be, manipulated by a man, or, unfortunately she did experience, domestic violence. And that's something, like you said, it doesn't parallel my life per se, but I do know what it means to be like terrified. And one way I can identify it is like, my father in particular was someone who believed in whoopings. You know what I mean? And for him, it was a thing of, I'm doing this as a form of punishment so that not to do this whatever thing again or anymore, right? Because that's what his father taught him. And, my grandfather's father taught him that, because it was like, if you go outside and play with these white people the way you trying to play in this house, it could be the end of your life.
Right.
And that's why it's justified in their mind, right? And by the way, when my dad told me that, I was like, ooh, still don't believe in whoopings, but now I see why it felt that was such a necessity during those times for, Black folks in particular, and protecting their young, their children. But I do know what it means to be a girl who has someone who's bigger, stronger than her, striking her. Again, it's two completely different subject matters, but all I can do as an actor is pull from that, because I'm not gonna like, go out and get get abused to try to tap into that. I'm just gonna be like, okay, in what moments in my life have I felt incredibly scared, or maybe have felt harmed by someone that loved me, who also justified it? Because I mean, her ex-husband at the time, he had his reasons for justifying why he was doing what he was doing.
Abuse is usually justified.
By the abuser, right? You know what I mean? And so tapping into that was something that I had to do, and it definitely isn't easy, because it's like, I love my dad, you know what I mean? I don't think his reasons are anywhere near what Harvey, that's the character's name, was for Tonisa.
Right.
But I just pulled into that fear. And that timidness, and what that does to the spirit when that happens. And then also tapped into like, when it's time to like, all right, that was that. Now we on to this. Now we got it. Now I got to take care of this. Now I got to move on with this. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I don't do that again, because that might upset him. So now I know how to maneuver. And so I just pulled into that for sure. And in terms of, I've never dealt drugs. I will say I've never done drugs, but I have lived life where I've had to lead, and so pulling from that in order to be the queen pin that she was. That I have been in situations, even just in like my philanthropy, let's just say, where I have to lead a group of us over to Uganda, and they're trusting me to lead them there. And then when we're there, we're teaching all these children, and we're going from school to school, and all these things I had to put in place and organize and set up. And you're a program director. So tap and bring that to this. You mentioned Lethal Weapon. It's a lot of exposition. It's a lot of, this means this and that means that, and this was the reason why this happened. So just bringing those instances or situations where I've had to lead to the character, although I've never been a cop or never been the queen pin or whatever. Bringing the energy of what that person needed in that moment is what I do. Even if I haven't experienced it directly. Everyone's been scared, everyone's been happy, everyone's been so being able to like tap into that in a way though that still doesn't like take me off the deep end. You know what I mean? I have to be mindful of that too.
Because you still have to come home. You still have to come home and be a mother and transition into that. But I love again, that's why art is so powerful. Because we are able to pull from life. And I love that. I really do. I really do. And congratulations.
Sometimes it's not fun, but
congratulations. The award. The nomination.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I'm just grateful that everyone who was a part of the project gets to, see like a fruit of their labor, and for Tonisa, I did call and talk to her, and I was just like, man, this feels so bittersweet, because you've endured so much and still enduring so much. The crew that she was a part of, BMF, it's like they still have so much history there, and there's still a lot of friction in a lot of ways. And these people are alive. Almost all these people are still alive. So, and they, it's family. And so Black mafia family, right? So they have every which version of what someone's story was or reason, or, their experience. And this is happening in real time. And but, she went to prison. These people went to prison. This is not, it feels bittersweet because it's like, here I am able to like receive a nomination, or, the film is able to receive a nomination off the back of like your trauma and your heartache and your shortcomings. And
but that's beautiful too.
Yes.
Even how you phrase that.
Yeah.
Able to receive a nomination off of her trauma and her art. That hits. That hits different.
And she was like, well, no, because she was just appreciative that I was able to be a voice for her. So she doesn't want me to see it that way. But this is my first, biopic, and I've always wanted to do that as an artist. Like, oh, I would love to do a biopic. Like, I'm going to leave it open to whatever it would be, whatever God wants it to be. But I never considered like, okay, well, if their journey is tumultuous and you receive accolades for it, like, what does that even feel like? Right. Because I'm being someone else's life. So I'm in the midst of that journey and understanding it. Yeah, and feeling that. So it feels like I'm grateful, but also feels as if maybe there's a little imposter syndrome. I don't know, but it feels like it's someone else's life though. I feel like she just it's her. Like I feel like
you birthed it. You brought life to it. Yeah. As a gift. Yeah. As one of your many gifts.
It feels different than just a fictitious character. Right. Though. It really does.
Especially because you have so much contact with her.
Yeah.
So you're able to really tap into what her journey was. Yeah. And what those traumas were and how she's been affected by it. And she just seems so humble.
Yeah, she is. So. I appreciate her for trusting me to do it because she had to have the last say essentially and agreed for me to do it. You know what I mean? And I trust her. I mean, I appreciate her trusting me with so much of her secrets and things that happen in her life and things that aren't in the film and all of that. Like I'm just, you're seeing it in real time. Like it's still kind of mind blowing to me, honestly. Yeah. Like I'm just like
process.
Wow.
I have a feeling, and I'm almost certain, just sitting here in this exchange, that your favorite title, your favorite gift is motherhood. And I blush when I say that because I'm not a mother yet. I'm not married. But it is a prayer. It is a desire. And so when I see women like yourself, especially Black women, I'll say that, especially Black women who carry themselves so well, who seem to balance out the titles and the life and the experience and move forward. Like I've always seen you moving forward. How has motherhood changed your life?
Ooh.
I know that is a loaded question because it's like, obviously it has, right? But you've mentioned that you're married and you have bonus children, which is also a gift. That's so special because it ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
But to birth two beautiful beings and to be responsible for, like you said, their childhood, to be responsible for their life, their perceptions. Again, I understand it's a loaded question, but I'm going to assume that is your favorite title.
Yeah.
That is your favorite role.
Yeah.
And so 7 years ago, you weren't a mother, right?
No, I was not. Yes, it is absolutely my favorite role. I love being a mom. It's so reflective. It's so reflective. I mean, a parent in general, not just a mom, parent. It's so reflective. Everything that has come up for you in your entire life, you see through the lens of your child because you see what triggers you based on what they may be going through. And then because I am a person who has been on a journey of just self-discovery and really knowing myself, I now can have the tools to say, okay, why is this triggering me? Why is her tantrum triggering me so much? Oh, well, when I was a kid, it was cut it out, be quiet, or you're going to get this beaten.
Right. Go to your room.
We ain't got time for it.
Right.
So I can't put that on her though. So it's just so reflective. I mean, it's, if you allow it and if you're in a space for it as a parent, it's also healing, because you're healing yourself while you're leading your child. You know what I mean? So when my daughter's having her fall out on the floor, you can cry, you can be upset, you can be sad. That's okay. But we don't have to throw our bodies on the floor. You can hurt yourself doing that. You can sit on this couch, you can go in your little clubhouse room, you can talk to your stuffed animals, you can take deep breaths. You want to read a book, or do you want to eat some food? Maybe we can eat something else. You know what I mean? Giving her options outside of just her falling out on the floor, but giving myself other options outside of, I'm going to shut you down and spank you in order to get you out of these feelings that obviously you need to get out. That's just an exchange. And she's just 3. So she's just like, okay, I'm getting some other options, because she doesn't know anything else. And I don't want her to know anything else.
Right.
So it's so healing. It's so reflective. And it has expanded me physically and spiritually more than anything else in my life. And what I've come to find is that each of my children, particularly definitely the ones that I've birthed, have given me a different lesson. And I would imagine that if I'm meant to have more, they're showing me another like tier that I need to just be mindful of or work on in my life. And so with my bonus kids, what I'm incredibly grateful for is I was a bonus kid. You know, I come from a blended family. So I know how they feel. I know how it feels to not have both parents in the house and miss your mom when you're with your dad, and miss your dad when you're with your mom, and you like this about your mom's house, but you don't really care, but you like this more about your dad, and sometimes you want to live with your mom, sometimes you want to live with your, I know all of that. So I'm able to come to the table in a way where I really see them and I can really identify with them in a really pure way that their mom cannot, their stepdad cannot. You know what I mean? And I take pride in that they call me Mishi, that they're able to come to Mishi and have a safe space with me in a way that they feel seen and heard and loved, and that they have this other additional mother figure who provides another set of resources for them. I'm so grateful for that. And it used to, of course, it used to bother me that I was in a blended family, because you just want your parents to be together. I think that's just like a kid thing or what have you. But now I'm grateful for that, because look what I'm able to do for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot I probably wouldn't have been able to understand or identify with if I just didn't have those experiences for myself. So that has just taught me that life is always full circle. And what you go through is it's just going to help you.
Preparation.
It really is preparation. And even when it sucks. And then, but in terms of my baby girls, like Noir taught me a lot about just resilience and like trusting yourself, because she was a preemie. And at the time that when we had like our 20-week scan, they were like, yeah, so she's perfectly fine. However, you have some issues going on that, we're not sure how long you're going to stay pregnant. And we think that you should just cut your losses and be done.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, nah, that's not what I'm getting. And I sat in the hospital for months.
4 months.
4 months. Yeah.
Wow.
So between her and I, altogether, altogether might be 5 months, because I spent time there. That's number 5. I spent time there and because the thing was, they were like, well, we gotta, if you have an infection, we're just waiting. And I felt the energy of like, yeah, she's about to lose a baby. Like I felt it from everyone, but I just had this like resilient thing and this faith, and I just locked in a way that no one else, it was just between me and her.
Yes.
And God. And I had to just trust this dimension here. And thank God I did, because we have the most beautiful child. And yes, I had to spend my time in the hospital, and I absolutely hated it. She had to spend some time in the NICU, and I couldn't stand it. But at the end of it, mommy was healthy, and we brought home a beautiful, healthy baby girl. But the resilience and the endurance that was needed, yeah, I had never experienced that to that extent. And then my husband and I had to do that together in a pandemic on top of all of this. It was in 2020.
Wow.
Right. In a pandemic. So, but it was perfect because there wasn't, no one else was we didn't have anywhere else to go or be. All we had.
So divine timing.
You
even,
know,
yes.
all we had to do was just focus on mommy getting well, daddy getting well, and daughter getting well. And it was beautiful. And then when my second pregnancy, my daughter Serenity, she had 20-week scan. You know, here I'm already having trauma from my last 20-week scan. I'm just hoping things go well. And sure enough, the rug is ripped underneath us again. And they say, okay, she has this very rare kidney condition and she's not flushing out any fluids. So that means she's not flushing out any fluids, then, you know, she can't, there's no fluid in the womb, so she can't build lung tissue because babies build lung tissues from breathing in and out the water in the amniotic fluid in the womb. So it was like, okay, you know, so we had to make a family decision. They're like, she's not going to make it to full term. If she does, she's more than likely not going to breathe by the time she comes out. And if she can breathe by the time she comes out, she automatically has to be on dialysis, if we can even get there, on top of whatever brain damage. Like, it was just like a long list. So we had to make a decision as a family. And for Serenity, outside of just the lesson of serenity and surrendering, it was discernment, trusting that God gives me discernment.
Yes.
As a mother, I had to make the decision, do I want my child to endure what's ahead? Do I want my husband to endure what's ahead? Do I want my baby girl who's already here to endure what's ahead? Do I want to put my life potentially at risk finishing this pregnancy? Discernment. She taught me discernment. You know what I mean?
That's
so
beautiful.
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, it was, and it was something that my husband came to before me, but he was respectful in the sense of like, I'm gonna rock with you in whatever you decide, you know. And so we did make the decision to, you know, terminate that pregnancy for medical reasons. So I had to have what they call like an induced abortion. So I still had to have her. And so we got to hold her and say our earthly goodbyes. And it was gut wrenchingly hard. It was just like, but motherhood. This is motherhood. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what I see.
Mhm.
That's what I feel.
Yeah.
When I asked you to be a guest and I wanted to talk with you and sit down, and it wasn't about all of these titles. It wasn't about the TV roles.
Yeah,
and all. It was exactly that.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. That's what I see.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to know.
Yeah.
That you made it through something like that.
Yeah. And it was the hardest thing. And at the same time, it was a spiritual awakening, you know. And I was talking to my therapist too. And I'm just thankful that, you know, I was already with this therapist pre that and during it and everything. And as you know, I got to a point where I was like, you know, this may sound weird, but just roll with me. I was like, I don't know if I'm just really that tapped into my spirit, but I feel peace. Like, I feel okay. And she said, that is okay. She said, there's no trauma trophy.
Oof, trauma trophy.
She said, trauma trophy. She was like, you don't have to wear the scarlet letter on your sleeve of like, this is the thing that happened to me. And you have to wear it in a way that, in a way where it has to be broadcasted, or it needs to be what just is the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Like, it's okay to go through something and heal through it and have an understanding of what it is and how it is, and have peace in the decisions that you've made, and be like, yes, this is our story and this is what it is, from like a true place of understanding. And that's where the serenity, my husband named her after a serenity prayer. Like, this, like, we have to surrender this to you. 6 weeks after having serenity and saying our earthly goodbyes, I was pregnant. with legacy. And that pregnancy was smooth sailing. We had an incredible home birth. And legacy reminded me of just, and is teaching me of like that just redemptive moment that you can have. You know, that moment of God is not here to hurt you.
Yes.
He's not here to harm you. Life, you know, even if spirit aside, life is not here to just like here you go. I'm here to just smack you around for no reason.
There's blessings in the breaking.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it was just a reminder of that. And she's taught me so much about true hope. Because I was at the water at the beach with Serenity and talking to God and saying, you know what, if it's just Noir, if it's just my baby girl, my bonus babies, I'm with it.
It is well.
I count it all joy was what I was saying throughout my whole time with Serenity. When I got to a place of that discernment that I was talking about, I'm like, I count it all joy. Like, okay, that's okay. I'm all right with it. And so when we got pregnant with her, I was just like, but then as the weeks rolled by and the appointments rolled by and time went by, I was like, I deserve happy endings. Oof. I can have it. And it may not even be the end. I'm open to more. You know what I mean?
I deserve happy endings.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just, And so it felt incredibly redemptive, and it reignited that idea of hope, and it reminded me of that joy they were talking about, that young artist who was like, I'm going to be in California in the most competitive field there is in all the lands, and I'm gonna actually be successful. Yes. That like naivety, hope, young, it came back. It reignited. Yes. And you know what? There may be more grief that comes. I'm more than sure that it's going to come. Yes. And it's gonna hit me hard. And I'm gonna cry. And it's gonna be hard. And I'm gonna be like, God, what? And why? And how? But I know life has now, motherhood has shown me personally, because of course I've heard of it in other stories and testimonies. Right. But living in my testimony, healing through my testimony, existing through my testimony, oh yeah, this life ain't here to hurt and harm me. I don't know what's ahead. I don't know how it's ahead, but there's joy again. There's laughter again. I can smile again. I can talk about Serenity from a place of solitude and peace.
Because I felt peace.
Yeah, like that's my girl.
Her story, your story, Serenity. That again, that just gave me some healing.
Oh, good. Truly. She's infinite. She's infinite, and so I love being a mother. I love the lessons I'm learning. I love how it's expanding me. And I just, and right now with my girls, that's 3 girls, technically. I still want a baby boy. So God.
He coming.
Yeah.
It's the year of boy. Yeah, I know 3 women who are pregnant with boys.
Wow. So maybe not this year, but also motherhood has taught me, and my experience through pregnancies has taught me to like take your hands off it.
Right.
Because
we don't know
we
time.
We don't know time. You know what I mean? Any of that. But I'm just, now I can say I'm grateful for what it was. Yeah. You know what I mean? Of course I wanted the usual, just 9 month and the baby showers and the things, and, not during a pandemic, but that's not Michelle's journey, and I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And someone who's had the complete opposite, I champion that. You know what I mean? And my prayer for my girls, I just want them to be self-aware. I just want them to know who they are. Yes. I just want them to be able to just stand solid in their decisions. You know what I mean? I want them to feel freedom in their life. I want their childhood to have even more joy than what I experienced. I don't want them to be parentified. I don't want them to have their innocence taken away in any way that I can help, prevent that. I want them to be tight. as siblings. I want them to be friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Sibling dynamics are tough.
They are extremely. Family dynamics are tough. Mother-daughter,
Yeah.
father-son.
I want to create a dynamic where we respect each other. We hear with it. We may not always see eye to eye, but we respect each other. That's what I want to create in our home. You know, Speaks in the Speaks home. And we're doing it. We're doing it. And I love this mother. I really do love motherhood. I really, it's just making me so much more aware, so better. I feel things, everything sounds different, feels different, looks different. I take things in differently now because of motherhood. I never was a shallow person, but I just had a lot of idea of things that now I get. You know?
Yeah.
It's just different.
Wide open.
Man, cracked open. I feel like I listen more.
The oxygen is different in your body. Yeah.
It's so different. And, you know, sometimes I'll go I was at the grocery store with them, and this lady at the checkout was like, "Oh, you must be the aunt." I said, "No, I'm their mother." She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's just because you were so patient with them and having so much fun with them.
Right. And you look so amazing and energized.
Right.
And fresh.
Right. It's because I love being a mother. And these things that I'm aware of, it's hard, but I'm doing the work. And this, you know, they say gentle parenting. For me, it's assertive parenting and aware parenting and conscious parenting is work. But it's worth it. It's so worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. So I love mother. That's a really long answer to your question.
And I know it's loaded, but I love it. And
really
I'm sure you have, like, we could talk about motherhood all day. Again, I'm not a mother, but I just love the fact that you are in the midst of your career.
Yeah.
And you wear these hats and these titles so well. And yet you are a mother. The greatest role, your favorite role, and how it's birthed you and healed you.
And I'm learning with the self-love component, I'm learning that Michelle pre-motherhood, the essence of her, because of course I've naturally have evolved, but the essence of her can still exist. So it's actually a compliment. At first I was like, girl, of course these my kids. But it's a compliment because the joy is still there. You know, the youthfulness is still there. You know what I mean? I want my girls, you know, like you said, I'm in the middle of my career, which means we may go all over the world twice, 3 times over. I want y'all right there because I want y'all to see what it looks like when a human being who happens to be your mom is following her what she feels is a part of her passion.
Yes.
Not my purpose, but my passion. You know what I mean? And I want you to see me taking girls trips or like kikiing in the house, you know, sometimes with my friends, so that you can see the different dimensions of being a woman and what that entails and what that can be for you. I want them to see an example of like living life and not just doing everything that everyone says you should do because of this is how you should do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You better get
Traditional
these
structure.
A's. Yeah, you got to get these A's and you got to go to college. And I want them to crack all that wide open. What do you want to do? What do you want to say? What is your thoughts, your mind? Because that's not what I had. You get them A's. Okay. And you're going to college.
Go to college. Education is important.
And you know, and you're going to get a job.
Right.
Because I want you to be able to take care of yourself. So I already kind of like cracked that. So my kids, I mean, I'm trying to find schools that don't even like give out grades.
Yeah. Homework.
I'm trying to find schools. I don't mind homework because I kind of want to know what's going on. But I mean, there's like, if I don't find a school that I feel meets what I feel works for my children, I'm going to homeschool.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at with it.
There's some schools here in LA.
Yeah.
I'll drop you some.
Please.
Yeah,
especially because you work a lot with like children and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for just, again, joining me in this space, sharing yourself in such a vulnerable, authentic way.
Thank you.
What I hear, what I felt, what I saw is that you are a Hillvolutionary. Hillvolutionary by definition, right? You think of revolutionary and you think of healing. That's where Hillvolutionary comes from. It's the rebellion against intergenerational mindsets, traumas, traditions, all of that. You just said you cracked that. And your girls are going to crack that.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
by definition, you are a Healvolutionary. And I am honored to identify you as such, to be in this space, for you to have shared your journey with us.
Yeah.
And so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I ask everyone who comes in and shares their journey. Having sat here, would you consider yourself to be a Healvolutionary?
Hearing my daughter's voice in the background back there with my husband, I'm going to say yes. Hearing that is a reminder, because before you even gave your explanation, I would have been like, oh, no, I'm still on a journey and I'm still trying to. But hearing legacy in the background and thinking about the way that you just defined it. Yeah. I accept that. I am worthy of the title of Healvolutionary.
Yeah, you are a Healvolutionary.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
This was so refreshing for me, even.
Really? I hope so.
No, truly. I hope so. It really was. I have a gift for you.
What?
I got a gift for you.
Oh, I love trucker hats.
Yes.
This is my thing.
Yes. And a little
my husband
bag.
may steal this too, just so you know. So.
I have one for him.
Oh, you do? Okay, great.
Yeah,
he's gonna love that.
And so,
awesome.
And so, welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you for your love, your honor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your authenticity, your grace. Cheers to a beautiful journey that is going to, have many, many paths.
Yeah.
And so,
thank you.
I think your soul is so beautiful.